Yeah, I'm sitting in the corner so that I just make a distinction between the moderator and the panelists. I won't once again introduce them. All of them are already much known to you. But I would just describe, or I would just use one word to describe all of them, something that runs through all of them. I would call all of them as organic intellectuals. A word I think was earlier used by Gramsci. I would use this word primarily because, of course, they have been writers, they are intellectuals, but at the same time they are also quite closely connected with the community around, and in that sense they are organic intellectuals. So in one way or the other, they are also into certain kind of activism, either through the writing or in the field itself. Secondly, in fact, each one of them is a veteran, and hence for a moderator like me, each one of them is just unstoppable juggernauts. So my only request for all of them, because Gandhi quite often cropped up in our discussion earlier too, I would request all of them to exercise some kind of self-control in terms of time, in terms of thought. Of course, thought is absolutely their own, but only in terms of time. Certainly, I won't play the anchor of Republic TV. I won't speak much. I will just allow them to speak, let them speak. But I would just have some kind of an order, at least initially. I would request each one of them to speak for a couple of minutes, and then we can go for discussion. And I mean, it's just a random order. I would just start with Shiv. Yeah. I will start with Shiv, then Krishna Prasad, and then Phani, and afterwards Manu, Chakravarthy. The topic you are familiar with, this is media and propaganda. So we'll just start with Shiv. Sir, in fact, what is your notion of propaganda vis-a-vis media? How do you respond to this very topic itself in the beginning?
Propaganda is the science of a lie. I think it has to be fought in a different way. And I think you've got to look at the nature of language. Krishna Prasad covered one aspect of it quite brilliantly. So let me do a set of quick stories. With Goring or Goebbels, the stories attributed to both, was once said, he said, every time I hear the word culture, I reach for my gun. But the most brilliant response to it came from another German professor at Princeton, Alexander Gershon, who said, every time I hear the guns, I reach for my culture. And I think this is really what we have to try to capture. Can we use culture, can we use the power and creativity of language and journalism and media to counter propaganda? And I think here we have to take language seriously. And don't take language innocently. I'll tell you a second story. James Joyce, one of the greatest authors I know, once went to meet Carl Jung along with his son. And Joyce was praising his son, saying, what a fantastic language he has. Jung listened for a while and said, there's a slight tragedy. You're a literary genius, he is a schizophrenic. And I think somewhere Indian language operates closer to schizophrenia than to Joyce. Just take two examples which struck me recently. And it comes from professional things. Last year there was this fantastic crisis in Orissa where a waterfall died. folklore died, a myth died, our sacred died, our civilization died. I took this report about the tribal bemoaning the waterfall to an economist friend of mine. He looked at me and said, "Are you mad? A waterfall is only so many cubics of water. What myth? What language?" See, I think it's a question of how you see these things. And I'll do it very quickly by saying, if you look at it, to me the most four frightening words of Indian language is security. It's done more to brutalize Kashmir than any word I can think of. Patriotism, which marches in uniform. Development, which has displaced more people than all the wars we have fought. And the nation state. I think we need an exorcism of language. And the place to perform it is media. If we can do that, I think in a way we can break the structure of propaganda. Because propaganda is not overt, it's covert, it's tacit. You don't know how it operates, and you don't know how it operates on you. But these kind of textbook words are propaganda words. Of course, that will make all of you anti-national. But anti-national is one of the best ways of recovering the power of language and democracy.
There's very little to say after something so eloquent. But speaking purely as a journalist, let me just say, take that point forward, those four words of security, development, nationalism, and so on. And let me just say how really deeply, I think people are a little confused today between propaganda and publicity. We have no problem with publicity. I think we're very clear on that. I think propaganda of the sense where you tar brush a whole community, you tar brush a nation, you tar brush an idea, you tar brush an ideology. I think that is propaganda, and that is deeply troubling. And speaking as a journalist, I'm really concerned about the role of the media in being a part of this propaganda machinery to such an extent that words like urban Naxal, have really shockingly entered our lexicon. That even professors start using it, even ordinary people start using it. I think this is a backhanded way of dealing with many things. I think what we've learned in the last 4 years, as Professor Visvanathan kind of hints at, if not 4 years, I don't know what time point he's looking at, is that in the last 4 years, we've evolved our own little set of words. So essentially when we are talking Pakistan, we're talking about Muslims here. When we're talking about Bangladeshis, we're talking about Muslims here. When we're talking about development, we're talking about urban Naxals here. So I think what we've learned is a very backhanded way of dealing with propaganda, one. Two, what we've also lost through the media in the last few years is any pretense of being objective about propaganda. We have just dislodged our spectacles and thrown it away, and we have become straightforward stenographers of the kind Indira Gandhi accused us of. So I think we've just lost that. It's almost as if people are dictating terms to journalists, to anchors, to analysts, etc. So I think I'm really concerned, as he listed those 4 words, a few more words than that, and I would just stop there. Say that we in the media need to look at a more critical role for us in questioning some of these buzzwords, in questioning these theologies which are developing about people, about products, about places in this country. And that would be a good first starting step against propaganda.
I concentrate my comments on Kanda media. It has taken a new fashion. The propaganda is coming in a new form. That leader himself decides to put their ideas into the mouth of the people. And they don't take readers as Nagrik. Girish Karnataka use the word Nagrik and Srainik. So editor develops an army of readers. And when they want to silence someone or promote such an idea, they have developed a kind of technique. Immediately, once one event happens which you want to retest and make the readers understand that this is a very dangerous man, or this is a dangerous entity, or dangerous idea, immediately next day they start a reader's flow. 2 pages dedicated to it, and you see trolling. This happened to Anand, this happened to Girish Karnar, and it happens to anyone who puts in a new radical idea of society and says it affects the people. So as soon as it affects the people, and it happened to certain events like Mudanambike Virodi Andolana. I mean anti-superstition legislation, a draft of which was proposed to the government. You see that immediately next day there are propaganda papers. We know that there are propaganda papers. They opened this propaganda. At least I have a name there that this guy is writing. But now you start this consensus of the readers, 2 pages. You see how Anand was saddened. We personally experienced that. And now how Girish Karnar was targeted. I mean, that's a new mode of operation of the propaganda rather than say, which I can identify. Now I can put it into the minds of many people. Now, once say that a common people with common names from faraway places in Karnataka start saying this, yes, you start believing. That's what my first take. The technique has changed.
Let me look at the complexity of propaganda. How would you define, how would you understand propaganda? I'll begin with the 2 concrete examples. Frontline, progressive. It's not the propaganda. I'm trying to give you concrete examples. Not right-wing, quite progressive, if you wish to use the word left of center. What did Frontline do when it involved Nandigram, Singur under the CPM West Bengal government? Farmers, thousands of acres of land gone for a nano car. What kind of a question? What were the questions that Frontline raised about workers' movements, about peasants? Not right wing, not something that you can attack as communal. Second, turn to the Hindu, Frontline the Hindu. In Wayanad, I will shift to Kerala. The Mutanga forest, whether it was the LDF or the UDF, atrocities on the tribals. And if you look at propaganda, is there, Shiv has been pointing it out. Now, what are the structures of power that control news, filter news? Which is why you see Krishna here had to write Justice Krishna here. In fact, a 2-part essay, Atrocities on Adivasis. He said, whether it's the UDF or the LDF, whether it was A.K. Antony, the Chief Minister, or whoever, and especially for the leftists, for the Marxists, Justice Krishna here said, the time has come for them to understand the basics of dialectical materials. And it was the tribal leader, we were part of a campaign in Bangalore, Janu. We will also go back to that question of can the subaltern speak. Came all the way, it was a public deposition. The Adivasi leader who said, wherever you are, middle class, bourgeois, whatever the terms are used, the time has come for you people to speak on our behalf. Insiders, outsiders, drawing room conversations, as far as I'm concerned. She came here, public hearing, and said, please speak on our behalf. Be our proper interlocutors. My other question is, because Mr. Krishna Prasad has been giving all kinds of details, right from the 60s. Look at the tradition of reporting. Turn to such a capitalist power like America. How was it possible about the American presidential election Catherine Graham, Ben Bradley, and the two young reporters. How was it possible for them to withstand the onslaughts and terrorized by Nixon and controlled? How was it possible for an agency to escape pressure, to escape modes of propaganda, and to talk of certain values that any democratic society would cherish? All the President's Men was a film made in the 70s, and 2 years ago, how was it possible for them to recapture what America did? The American aggression in Vietnam, after which the Watergate scandal broke out. That you have the post, the film, which links 140 years ago, 140 years later, that talks of the trials, tribulations of the whole experience of the media. How was it possible for a very, very, well, globalization came to us, but such a high technological capitalist society to produce events, newspapers, which did not succumb to any kind of propaganda. So when I pitch propaganda in the Indian context, then what is propaganda? What are the filters I would use, the lenses I would use to deal with propaganda, to deal with right-wing governments or left-wing governments, to deal with right-wing papers or to deal with so-called left-wing papers? Go back several years and you will begin to see frontline two issues making us believe that paradise is there in West Bengal and paradise is there in China. What do I do with this? How do we begin to scrutinize news? So propaganda is not of a single kind, and it's propaganda which might come from so-called socialist, progressive parties' organs. Now this has been my problem. And that's why if you look at Shiv's own writings, or if you look at the fate of Sainath, how was it that he had to leave, get out? And how was it that somebody who was the chief, the rural editor in the Hindu, did such outstanding work? What are the circumstances under which he left? The hundreds of questions we need to ask about the nature of propagandas.
Yeah, before I move on to the next question, I would invite the panelists, if anyone wants to respond to other panelists' remarks. No, if you intend to respond to any of the panelists' comments, you are welcome. Otherwise, in fact, the changing nature of media and changing nature of propaganda. So how do you comment on this phenomenon? Because Hitler's times were different and contemporary is different. So changing nature of media and changing nature of propaganda, how would you respond to that?
In a very old-fashioned way. And if you look at the 4 or 5 people here, if you notice they have all a sense of the classic, and they're all very old-fashioned in terms of values. Values don't change so quickly. Technology might. And I think sometimes old-fashioned values make a big difference. I'll give you a simple example. A few years ago, my daughter happened to see a copy of India Today, where Shapal Dasgupta had written an article on how anti-national I was. She was just 7. She came and asked me, Appa, what's anti-national? So I said, I'll explain it to you. She was going for a debate in school, one of the youngest debaters. And that day the debate was about nuclear energy. So I said, go and say you're against nuclear energy. She's a brilliant debater, but she was voted last by all the judges. She came back and said, I got it, I'm anti-national. I think sometimes old-fashioned stories are important. In fact, if we look at the Watergate story or the Vietnam story, there's a lot of old-fashioned values in it. Whether you read David Halberstam or Ben Bradley, the sense of old-fashioned integrity, I think is something we have to come back to. I'm not a pomo. I'm very old-fashioned. But I think there's a tremendous relevance to being old-fashioned in a world like this.
Well, it's nice to be called old-fashioned. I hope I'm old-fashioned. I'm not, I think. But I mean, I do an old-fashioned thing of quoting a man called Prasad Patnaik. I don't know how many of you are aware of Prasad Patnaik. If you are an economics student, you must be aware of Prasad Patnaik's excellent work. Prasad Patnaik in 2003 or 4 wrote a fantastic essay called Media, Markets and something else. There's a triple barrel headline, in which he made a simple point, which is that the moral universe of Indians has changed. Whether you're old-fashioned or new-fashioned or newfangled, the moral universe of Indians has changed. And I think that explains to me many of the things even that you see in the last half an hour, which is our interests have changed, our values have changed, our expectations have changed from politicians, from corporates, from filmmakers, from journalists. So I think it almost seems to be, as the young man asked, whether people are not interested in anything deeper than the most superficial thing that they read or watch or view. Because I think what is happening today to India, in my opinion, is not just a political phenomenon, it's not just an ideological phenomenon. I will go along with Professor Patnaik and say that India has been turned on its axis, and it's been turned on its axis not by Modi or BJP or others, but by a whole variety of factors, including the markets. And I think our diversions, our distractions are far superior to all the great things that we talk of. So I think, whilst we sit here and talk of the Dalits and Muslims and forests and hills and so on, I think most people are very interested in the last Facebook update that they received, and it doesn't go any deeper than that. And I think that's a very troubling thing, and if you are in journalism, if you are in communication, you must spend a few hours reading about the whole Facebook phenomenon. It is the thing in your pocket, it is the thing that you're interested in, and I think if you're interested in all of these issues we are talking about, I think we should examine for our own comfort Facebook's extraordinary role in distorting democracies across the world. And I say this with great responsibility. Its own role in the Rohingyas, its own role in Cambodia, its own role in India. If you know what happened in Muzaffarnagar, if you know what happened with the child lifting incidents last year, etc. All of these things are built around Facebook, and Facebook no longer is a tech company, it's a media company, and this is a media issue. How many of you are here on WhatsApp? How many of you are on WhatsApp? All of you are on WhatsApp? Let me tell you this one thing before I stop. The two people who founded WhatsApp, they sold that company to Facebook. And they walked out of the company when there was $1.3 billion still to be taken from Facebook. They said, we don't want this money. And one of them has launched a hashtag called Delete Facebook. The man who sold WhatsApp to Facebook has launched a global campaign saying delete Facebook. It is that important a crisis in the world today. And for us to make sense of politics, our communalism, our propaganda, all of these things, if you want to make sense of what happened in 2014, if you want to make sense of what might happen in 2019, and if you want to make sense of fake news, every single thing is captured on that one app in your pocket, which is Facebook. And if you're not reading more about it and being more concerned about it, if you're not responding to some of these things, I'm not saying you need to delete it. If you're not taking enough steps to kind of, couch your digital trade, I think there is a serious democracy problem we'll face in the next few years.
But let me ask you a question. How many of you are ready to delete Facebook?
How many of you are ready to delete Facebook? How many of you
Have you
have?
promised to follow it up? Or is it just that you want to create a Krishna Prasad? No, I'm serious, because I think it raises ethical questions, not just political ones.
Already deleted.
Excellent.
You might be the Ben Bradley of the next generation.
I want to make a different stand. I mean, deleting the Facebook, yeah, I understand the implications of Facebook, implications of WhatsApp. But I'm in WhatsApp, I'm not in Facebook, I'm in WhatsApp just to be connected with the young minds, the debate which is going on there, and I'm being classical in that. In the sense that the language they use. Okay, almost we have become, one thing what I see in WhatsApp is, we have become a replica of propagandists. If right makes certain kind of comments, uses vulgar language, or uses a language which is not democratic and justifiable, which doesn't respect the rights of others, use of foul language, we replicate it. We replicate it against whom we oppose. That means the language what we are using in WhatsApp, the young minds, very enthusiastic. What Manu called maybe progressive in the what sense, but whenever it comes to the left activists or on the propaganda, who are on the WhatsApp, when something comes up with BJP or BJP related or right wing related thing, they use the same kind of language without nuances, right? Of understanding what is wrong there, essence, what is the essence of propaganda, instead of attacking the essence of propaganda, being classical, observe, and use this very sane language to counter that. So that there are 256 people in the group, and you are not raising the point of matter there, you are using the word. So you are losing the idea for the language. For the whole language, that means that they have succeeded. 256 other people have made you slaves. So I want to address that kind of problem. So it takes a strenuous process. I'll sometimes in a group, I'll do a 3 or 4 hours debate to bring them to a same language. Some of the right wing movement does something, then you use the same foul language, same foulest of the language that right wingers use. Now what is the point? Where is your political stand? Where is the alternative? Because this is not restricted to your opponents. Anyone who opposes your views, it has come to such a state that anyone who opposes your views, and me too or any other issue, then you start attacking them. You group yourselves and start as soldiers. So I am in touch with Facebook, not on Facebook, with WhatsApp, to engage with the one whom I cannot talk face to face every day, so that I can bring them the sense of language and bring them the sense of classical resistance.
I need to contextualize this old world expression because we need to understand Shiv properly. Go back to the late 50s. For the first time, the Western world saw images, no digital technology, nothing. Saw images which bombarded the consciousness of the West. And that was when the whole nature of a documentary changed. I'm referring to Neil Davis, the Australian, and David Bradbury, who is still alive and had the good fortune of working with him several years, who bombarded photographically, cinematographically, the manufacturing of images, of those images produced by the dominant West. For the first time, the world saw images of Cambodia, of Vietnam, stunning, shocking the Americans into young Americans, shocking them into an awareness of what their own country had done. or turn to somebody like Pascal Wexler, the stories of the Black movement, the stories of what America did all over Latin America, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, or another filmmaker, Schechner, making weapons of mass deception, not weapons of mass destruction, which was a reference to Saddam Hussein. My question therefore would be, and that's what Krishna Prasad, Phaniraj and Shiv have tried to underline, are questions of safety, security, questions that deal with racism, do they ever fall into a time frame which could be categorized as old world, new world? Then what is this new technology all about? Then what are concerns about your safety, the safety of women, of children, the safety of human beings? And therefore those who use that expression don't ever think she was endorsing it. Questions dealing with principles of justice and equality are dubbed old world by those who have their own vested interests. And therefore you will have to begin to raise very fundamental ethical questions about what is this world order, what are these world orders that we are interested in? Are questions dealing with your safety, questions that are part of an old world? Why do we keep turning to them? And what are those images that we are interested in, whether you move from the analog to the digital or whatever, who cares? And I don't think we can sacrifice these questions, and I think this is what binds people like us.
May I just ask a question? How many of you are aware of what are called algorithms? That's good. Okay, let me ask you a second question. On your Facebook, do you find when you write something or you visit some website, do you find more of it appearing on your Facebook newsfeed?
Yes.
Why do you think that appears? Why do you think so? You're constantly tracked. That's a very bluntly put answer. But I think as young people, as young citizens of this country, you must be aware of one very important thing with all of these tech networks. Facebook's stated aim, and I'm not some enemy of Facebook, I'm just saying this because I know something. Facebook's stated aim is to be the operating system of the world, quote unquote, the operating system of the world. Secondly, all of these things make you believe and it makes you live in your own filter bubble, in your own ego chamber. You say you have a certain view of a certain kind of clothes, you see 50 things on that. So you think, my God, everybody is agreeing with me. It's just that everybody is only agreeing with you notionally. What Facebook does is to elevate agreement above that of truth. Agreement is more important on Facebook than truth. It's a very important thing to keep in mind whether you delete or retain Facebook, because it's a make-believe world. I don't know how many of you are aware of these numbers. There are 2.5 billion Facebook accounts in the world. 2.5 billion, which is more than 50% of all internet users in the world. More than 50%. The same company owns WhatsApp, 1.5 billion. Instagram, 1 billion. And Facebook Messenger, 1.3 billion. Even if you assume and account for some overlap, it's a scary number to be run by a company and a person who's 34 years of age, who has visions of becoming the next American president or the president of the United States at some point. And the last thing I want to say is this. We discuss things like mainstream media, alternative media, social media. Let me tell you, mainstream media is gone, alternative media has its place. We must look at Facebook's role in removing the filter of a different kind that exists in the world. And that filter, as far as I am concerned, is that of a journalist. We in journalism, whether it's Watergate or any other story, we are the filter between a story and the consumer. We check the facts, we cross-check, we go through things, we pour through material and then put it out. What Facebook does is to remove that filter. And why I'm saying this is because I'll take you to a news story which appeared in March this year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asked each BJP MP, to get 300,000 likes on his Facebook page. The Prime Minister asks each BJP MP to get 300,000 Facebook likes on his Facebook page. The point I'm making is not just about Mr. Modi. This is a technique that the Congress party is now following. Tickets are being given away on the number of WhatsApp groups you create, number of Facebook followers you have, number of Twitter followers you have. What they are creating is an advanced form of propaganda where there is no filter between the sender and the recipient. Okay? So this is, as citizens, very important for us to understand that what we receive is not because people are valuing truth, and what we receive is tailored by some algorithms for which somebody is being paid. And I think if we're not careful of this, we will have hell in our country. Just two examples I'll give you. The Muzaffarnagar riots took place in western UP on the basis of a fake video saying that a Hindu girl had been raped. It turned out that that rape video was from Afghanistan. It was used by BJP and RSS to spread absolute chaos in the western part of Uttar Pradesh. Secondly, earlier this year, a number of people, 23 people were killed because they were suspected to be child lifters. It turned out that that video on the basis of which the child lifters were alleged child lifters were murdered, it turned out that that video had come from Pakistan, and in fact that video was actually saying how to protect children. So the protect children video was turned into a propaganda film to lynch children or to kidnap children, and on the basis of which people were killed. So this is a serious business when people get killed, and I think we must be very careful as young people, as old-fashioned people, when we use our Facebook, because or any other tech device, because of what we don't know about what is inside.
Yeah, add something to that. I think you can't be obsessed with Facebook. Pedagogically, I would teach a media group like this a history of painting. I spent 2 semesters teaching Duchamp to my students. He took a simple exercise. He took out a urinal, put the picture as a piece of art. And everyone said, how can a urinal be a piece of art? But afterwards the question was, what is the piece of art? Duchamp did a painting which went over 45 years and he never completed it. I think we've got to use parallel words to try to understand what's happening. I think if some of you look at the history of surrealism, you might learn more about the Facebook than if you were to look at the statistics of Facebook itself. And I think that's a plea to pedagogy. Otherwise we get obsessed with the technology, we get obsessed with the horror of Facebook. Try art. In fact, at this point, try humor. In fact, this morning I was asking a friend of mine, how come there are no Ambedkar jokes? Would you dare try one? I think humor and laughter have to be brought back to bring a certain kind of perspective here. Try a good joke on Narendra Modi for a change.
I'll certainly make it open for you to ask questions, but before that I have one third last question.
And I just want to comment on this. I'm not into Facebook and I'm not putting my mind into logic of it. One thing what I'm wishing all through my engagement with platform is my exercise is to bring them to a real world. The web world to the real world, the connected world. Which means we are trying to use WhatsApp groups to be a real civil groups. Trying to bring them and we act as a community. community of watching the films and discussing the film. That's happening. I mean, we are also trying to do some of that kind of what you call network activity. And I think the time where classically bring face to face, become a community.
No, I think what I will do, I will invite questions from you at this point and I'll ask the third question later. So, forum is open. You are welcome to ask questions.
I just wanted to know, when you're talking about Facebook and the negative implications of Facebook per se. Prasad had told about the lack of gatekeeping or the lack of filter in the information that is being passed and accentuated on podiums like Facebook. Now, I have a friend who is a Chechen. He is from Chechnya, but he's a gay who is settled in Cairo. And he runs a network to the gay community in and around Cairo, Alexandria, Aswan, and other parts of Egypt and Lebanon and Jordan, where such kind of platforms are extremely banned or hated or scrapped. So now Facebook gives them a platform, and Facebook keeps them going about their work, about their to expand their network, to have dialogues, to have discourses on this matter. Without Facebook, probably this kind of situation wouldn't be prevalent in countries like this. So my question is that rather than getting onto the negatives or probably highlighting the negative impact of social media, which I'm not completely disagreeing to, don't you think we have to probably develop a kind of a space where we equip the future generation or the young generation to be responsible users of social media? And how exactly can we be responsible and how exactly can we be cautious and alert in a situation like this?
I don't disagree with anything I'm saying, and I agree completely with what you're saying. But I think Facebook has long past gone that stage. You should know that the Arab Spring started largely because of something like this. The Arab Spring that started in Tunisia and moved to other countries started because they had a platform on which they could share these things. But I think it's gone a little beyond that. You know, some of you must read a man called Neil Postman, if you've not read him. Amusing Ourselves to Death is a very famous essay by Neil Postman. It's very important because I think this has gone a little beyond the obvious. Offering a platform for protest, offering a platform for the other. These were the stated aims of Mark Zuckerberg when he launched Facebook. But I think the kind of things Facebook has done without your knowing, without telling the world, which it now admits to, is reflective of a very devious mindset. And the kind of people who have said things is not funny, and let me just give you an example of Sean Parker, who was one of the presidents of Facebook when he launched Facebook. Sean Parker, the founder president of Facebook, says cultivating addiction, quote unquote, cultivating addiction through the like button, so that you spend more time and attention, was a deliberate ploy of Facebook. This is the president of the company. Another, Sri Lankan called Chamat Palahapitiya, who also worked with Facebook, has only recently come on record to say that we at Facebook, this is a Facebook person saying this, Chamat Palahapitiya, we at Facebook have created tools, quote unquote, to rip apart the social fabric on which society stands. You see, these are very serious things coming from people within Facebook. And Facebook has been put through the kind of questioning through US Congress and through the European Parliament that Indian Parliament looks like a joke, they must be looking at these issues, And so therefore, of course, we must be responsible users, and that goes for Facebook or for any other platform. But what has come out about Facebook is very deeply dangerous for democracies.
Can I ask you a question? What is responsible? When you say, I want to be responsible, you feel you can modify technology? Or do you think there are limits to your understanding of technology that you have to understand? See, I think this word, responsible technology, in fact, says, persist with what you have. improvise. So if you want to fight the Vietnam War like the Vietnamese did, you invent guerrilla warfare. But you can't do it with the same technology. You have to improvise. You have to create a new imagination. So sometimes when you use the word responsible, I feel a bit scared of it.
So as against it, I say I want to be a renegade in between. I have two things. One is crack activism and the other is matrix. Right? Matrix is a fantasy and crack activism is a guerrilla warfare. I'm thinking in between such a model, a new generation model between crack activism and fantasy of the matrix. Somewhere that ethics is supposed to be evolved. I mean, I'm not sure of it, but I fantasize.
No, but just look at alternative technologies as alternative imagination. There are a lot of people around you who are thinking of it. It can be about waste, it can be about architecture, it can be about housing. But by reflecting on these parallel worlds, you don't get too obsessed with your own technology. And I think that becomes a very important thing. It's something you are Algorithmic once told me. Is the truth to be true has to be true in two languages. Now, give me your narrative in two languages. I'm not doing the critique. I'm inviting you and your colleagues now to go one step further. How do we improvise critique of Facebook or of all the technologies we are facing? And I think that demands a look at the alternative imaginations and what played out over the last 10 years. I think there's very important work and we have to look at it. Otherwise, you're caught in the grid. You'll come up with redeeming narratives from small dishes, which are true. But how do you look at the bigger question of responsibility? I think that requires a return to philosophy and to civilization in a different way. So I'm asking you now to be not just a media man, but an ethicist and a philosopher, which I think every media person has to be. Try. Ethics can be more inventive than technology.
The strange thing is that new technology itself is doing what you're saying. It's the ironic part. If you downloaded iOS, the latest iOS, you have something called screen time, which actually limits the amount of screen time you spend on your phone, which discourages you from doing what it itself encourages you.
Yeah, but you have conditions. What I'm trying to think technology more holistically. You ever read Ivan Illich? Ivan Illich. Try alternative imaginations for a while. Or bump into some of the older generation of scientists who dreamt alternatives. Okay? I think you'll find it fascinating. And maybe the faculty here should now try to expose you to those kind of stories. Maybe you should tell them about alternative architecture. No, and what I'm trying to say is, we take the paradigm for granted. There are alternative paradigms which talk about alternative epistemologies, lifestyles, ethics. So unless you look at parallel technologies and see how they think, try biotechnology for instance. Debates are stunning. It will make Facebook look mild. And I'm saying open up. Use science fiction as a new kind of narrative. And there's some very interesting work being done on new imaginations. Right? And you ever do futuristics?
I just read Michio Kaku.
Right.
But also Facebook gives a platform for unheard voices. Like it really worked out during #MeToo movement, or when people lodge a complaint against Zomato or Uber or Ola. So at these times it really works. So what would you like to say about it?
Okay. I was expecting this question from that direction. Okay, what's voice? All of you use it in a very fashionable way in the last. What's voice?
My opinion, my views.
Yeah, okay.
Which I would not like to share it openly between, like, you, as a person, like, in person, I would not like to share it.
Okay, can you push your voice towards epistemology? Now you say, what's that?
Yeah.
No, but I think that's precisely what I'm trying to say. Voice is still an uncritical category. It's important. It's fundamental. It's democratic. Now I'm saying use voice to invent a different democracy. What are your next 2 steps? This is a question, in fact, the Me Too movement is going to confront very soon. So before you lynch me, let me ask the question. Try.
I would just put my opinions and post it, and other people would comment over
That's
it.
lazy.
Then how will
Why can't you look critically at your opinions? That's why I said, what is voice? Are you sure that it's voice and not noise? As a communication theorist?
so does
Or are you saying like Colin Cherry that all unwelcome noise is unwelcome music? No, what I'm trying to say is, look at the word voice, it's not so innocent.
so how would people bring out their opinions?
No, give me 2 more steps. If you're saying just voice is going to create democracy, it's not. Right?
I would walk up to the authority and speak directly to them.
They're deaf.
How am I not doing that?
No, that's what I'm asking you. How do you disrupt authority? Voice is the beginning. Give me the next 2 steps.
By bringing people, like-minded people together.
That's how Facebook.
Like-minded people assume A, they think. 2, they actually agree with you. 3, you're using consensus in the same way as authorities are using. Push this question, let's see how far you go.
Walk up to a journalist and ask him to make a story on it. But then again, he will say no, because I have to go report to my boss.
No. If voice becomes just another equivalent to the World Bank theory of participation in development, where you vote for development after the models are decided, it won't work. Give me voice which carries dissenting imaginations in a more powerful way. Try. No, I'm trying to say that you guys are privileged as an elite. Now think further in terms of epistemology, in terms of ethics. Just making voice sacramental won't do. Give me the next 2 steps. No, try. I'm going to push you. Because, democracy has become very lazy in
For
India.
organization, form an organization, bring people together and then do riots and protests.
What, like Alcoholics Anonymous? No,
That's the last thing.
no, I'm not. I'm taking you very seriously.
Yeah.
In fact, I think someone else here should participate in the discussion. Because we had the same discussion yesterday. And I'm saying, now, is voice enough? You've got to articulate, give me a communication theory of voice first.
In today's busy life, I think that's the only thing we can actually do. Going out, talking to a journalist, it's a long time process. And then again, journalists are going to say, no, it's not going to happen. Or maybe doing anything else
Do you
is
think
very
voice
time-consuming.
needs a hearing aid? When you're talking, are you listening? What's your model of communication? You're media experts.
Facebook.
No, I think you have to develop voice much further if you want to push it into the world of the political and the ethical. Otherwise, it's great stuff. Today, voice is the most fashionable word in India for the last 2 weeks. How long does it take me to drown your voice in quotes? Not too long.
Let me misinterpret it. I mean, like, it's,
I think everyone here said you want to interpret me.
that's why I said I misinterpret it. What he's trying to say that you don't restrict it like
Okay.
so don't restrict to that. I mean, saying I have my voice. Next, what he's asking is, how do you extend that voice? What are the possibilities of voice? I mean, we see that here he is asking the question as if you are answering how many are going to be next. No, we are not asking you to win some It's not a winnable battle, it's a thinking battle. It should push us to our edges and say, frustrate us. I mean, what Shiv is asking, he asks such questions to make us think. Think further. Think deeper and wider. What is happening with WhatsApp in Facebook is, what they call it as WhatsApp University and Facebook University, right? Or Google University. So we are restricting ourselves to a kind of a knowledge where we are dictated by that. We don't want to go beyond that. Can we go beyond that? I'm a civil engineering teacher. I teach various specializations there. The first thing I ask them, bring me a bibliography of this topic. What they first do is open it, Google it. I said, once you go to the library and touch a hardware, there's a book, go and touch it. There's a kind of limitation what our voice is through this medium. So we try to break that and go beyond that, either technologically or classically, in whatever way. That's what I'm misinterpreting. Sure.
Let me just give you a quick anecdote and shut up. Have you looked at the debates between Gandhi and Tagore on Khadi? Try it. Khadi seems to be the most outdated thing I can throw at Facebook. But Tagore said something very interesting. He told Gandhi, the danger of Khadi is it's not erotic enough. A tremendous possibilities there. I'm saying, look at some of these wider debates to articulate voice, not just for eloquence, but for the power of argument. Of course, voice is important. It's like your vote. But do you think your vote exhausts democracy or citizenship? Sorry for being perverse for the last 2 days, but or at least that's what has been described by me. I really want to know what this voice means. Or is it a bit like the old record, his master's voice?
A voice of a melody.
No, I think the word voice has to be disentangled from power and re-embedded into critique. And that's part of the role of media. Okay, the philosophers demand to busy media experts. But you guys are going to be the next philosophers. And Facebook is going to be your case study. Instead of Adolf Eichmann, you'll have Facebook.
So I'm sure students will continue to think on these issues. The third question I need to ask is something is the last one as well. Media, propaganda and contemporary times. Because the idea of some kind of an emergency, prevalence of some kind of emergency in the country get cropped up. So we have a monkey path, but we don't have press conferences. So in this context, propaganda, media and contemporary times, I just...
I'll take it. Then go reverse.
Yeah,
Okay, Manu should start.
Okay, I'll take it. I've just come back from Assam. Well, one of the things that really bothers me is the way people look at the National Register. So how many of you want 4 million people interned? But people there think it's pretty democratic. It raises the question of voice. Okay, how do you set up that debate on the register, which goes beyond electoral voice? Are you going to dump them into gulags and say the Chinese can do it to 1 million tribes and the Bangladeshis can have a 1 million refugee camp? What's 4 million to India? I think this banalization of violence, the fact that we accept violence and evil so easily today is frightening. It's not crises. It's a fact that sometimes there's no crisis when there should be that way. Okay, as media people, try to handle the question of the National Register. Is it just an attendance record? Or is it the beginning of a way to eliminate people you don't like? Nothing like a good census to eliminate people, you know. Efficient, anonymous, abstract, and a model of governance. And tell me where voice works in Assam.
So we'll get back.
I just want to respond to both of you and further what's been going on. Do you want technology, the nature of which keeps changing? Virtual reality to control your imagination, to prevent you from understanding the natures of several realities. Do you want to follow the logic of technology as it evolves, that you begin to understand the nature of the world, the nature of your own self through technology, through virtual reality? Technology has a certain logic which keeps changing. Second, we have been talking of voices, especially young women here. Can you correlate your voice? Now, this is not an anti-discussion, but the serious question is, would your voice, in whatever technological form, secure the safety of your body? Would any form of virtual reality protect your integrity, your physical reality? I think preoccupation, too much of preoccupation with changing technology, with the power of technology, is negating the reality of your own physical self. The world exists in its physical form. Cruelty, violence, genocide. We must not let the logic of any kind of superior technology take away the truth of the realities of the world. Go back to the oldest forms of fiction. In fact, you will see that they are all futuristic. Turn to Wells or Jules Verne. In fact, much before the Robo came into existence, it was a play by Karl Capek, the Czechoslovakia. Much before in nanophysics, the word quarks came up. It was in James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake. I would say that technology catches up later, but the substantial realities of the world. So the simple ethical question for me is, much as voices are necessary, do voices, are they so ethereal? Doesn't your voice come from your body, which needs its safety, security? The securities of the world, the securities of the peoples of the world, these are fundamental questions. We can't be, to use a coin of word, tokenistic about voices, about freedom. Freedom has to be genuine, real, substantial. And that depends on the natures of the worlds we live in, not one kind of a world. Virtual reality is not going to protect us at any point. Then are we going to abandon virtual realities? But the point is technology to match the world which keeps changing. The substantiality, the reality of the physical world. I don't think any technology, you can build a network, go ahead, do that. But secure protection, safety, the integrity of the physical self, which is what the human self is all about. It is this divorce, it is this that we have to keep advancing, that takes us away from self-understanding, from the complexities, the difficulties, the tortures of the world. So I would like to say that this is not an anti-statement, but to say push technology to protect the natures of human beings wherever they are.
Much to add. I wish, I don't know, so you would listen to some of this every night. It would make India a far better place.
You would not be sure if the nation wants to know.
But it would make India a very better place. But any question? No, I don't have very much to say. We've spoken a lot. All I'll say is that you are media guys, you are young citizens, you are in the midst of technology. You will perhaps be journalists or somebody associated with journalism. And I think it's incumbent upon you, having heard some of us, to be a little more careful with what you deal with your words, with your technology, with your platforms. And you cannot be like any other common citizen because you are in the media business. And I know they'll say at the end is that you need to be more responsible and assume technologies will work.
Yeah, let me be more classical in the sense that, so what we learn from Anandamurthy, because again and again I'm talking about Anandamurthy, what we learn from Anandamurthy, I mean this is applicable to this debate also. Anandamurthy was always a charming person in a sense that his words are, what is his literature? My literature is my words linked with my friends' words, my co-writer's words, and my society's words, and that together makes my literature. So he wanted to link one to another, and it was not just an idea. I'll tell you what he used to do. He used to write a regular column in a mainstream newspaper every 15 days once, and he makes it a point that he chooses some of us and says that regularly, whatever I write, you should not say I liked it. You should, either if you liked it, you should say me why you liked it, and if you are opposing it, you should say me why you oppose it. How do I say you stay in Bangalore, I'm here? Okay, text me. And he used to, at that age he used to, or mail me. So mail and text were not kind of technologies for us, it's a pump. So it went on like that for all the 80 or 90 pieces he wrote. And when he wants to publish as a book, when a publisher came, he told only one thing. If and only if all the comments Bunny has made will appear and publish along with me, because it's a co-authorship, whatever thing, I mean, one is connected to the other, unless you publish his comments, I don't know. I mean, there's a kind of a flocking what he used to get, kind of a community he wanted to create, and he was very successful in that. If Manu and me and sitting together, and if I am sitting together with Shiv, it's possible, it's made possible, otherwise I would not have done it, build a community. I mean, there are plenty of comments in Karnataka about Anandamurthy and his personal this thing, but you see that kind of philosophy of building a community, that is what I call as fraternity, and fraternity taken with a lot of dissidence. I mean, like the quarrels what we used to have with Anandamurthy was vast. Many a times he started fuming, and many a time he started watching out, or we started watching out, but that never came in the middle of community and fraternity, and it created that's where I'm sitting with Manu, I'm sitting with Varadesh. So that kind of philosophical idea exchanges, making relations possible, that's still possible with the new technology, but that sense of rooting in a community and community exchange, flocking together, that I feel is the next thing what we have to do. So it's a very conservative one, but let's do it. It poses a lot of responsibility and ethical as well as moral.
One last question to the audience and one last comment afterwards by the panelists. Yeah.
This is just out of my curiosity. It is related to media but not that much. I am from Assam, and as Sir said about NRC, NRC is actually National Register of Citizens, and we people in Assam will have to prove them that we are Indians. So this is to find out who came after 1971 as illegal immigrants to stay in Assam. So this is just to know from you, sir, as I worked as a journalist there for 2 years, and I tried to find out the answer from everyone, but no one gave me any good answer or any answer that I can accept it. The thing is, NRC is something to find out the illegal immigrants who came from Bengal or like wherever. Then the government of Assam is trying to do this registration, and we are forced to prove that we are Indian citizens. But at the same time, the BJP government, the new government there, they're trying to bring Hindu Bangladeshis and they're trying to keep them in India. And our government, the BJP government, is forced by the central government, and media is unable to portray this in their news. They are restricted and they are not getting answers. What do you have to say about that?
But that's what worried me. How much media silence are you going to accept? Two, there's a silence about the register. It's all an informal conversation. I think this is not just an Assam problem, it's an Indian problem. It's a problem in human rights. And we have to learn to articulate it. If Assam doesn't do it, the next state has to do it. You media guys should be backing her up. Why don't you look at the silence of your community first?
Sir, I would like to share this with you. I worked there as a journalist, I told you, for 2 years, and during the demonetization period, they gave so much of pressure, they put so much of pressure in me that I couldn't work there in that environment and I had to quit. And I thought that I'll go for a research and I'll fight for this. There, when girls or anyone, young journalists, when they go and ask in press conferences to the ruling party, they were ready to give Aadhaar to cow, the cattle, that they smuggled from Assam to Bangladesh and from Bangladesh to Assam. And for that reason I asked them why Aadhaar and why protection to cow or cattle, not to women or children. Their trafficking is going on, sex trafficking and everything is going on. And they just asked me one question, that you are from which channel? And they said, we'll deal with you later, just in front of everyone. So that is what we, journalists, they are facing there. And some they can cope up with the situation and some they cannot. So there is no other...
Yeah, but Stan, more of these stories come out.
Yes, sir.
So national register doesn't look like some antiseptic concept, but something which is threatening the electoral and democratic frame of a society. And not just Assam. Don't turn it into an Assamese problem.
Yes.
It's the problem that Indian democracy will have to confront. And maybe countries around, whether it's Rohingya or China, will have to look at the same things. But that's going to be one of the big media questions. I'm glad you're here. Now write your first book, please.
If I will respond to this, in brief. No. It's just asking you to do some more homework. Try to understand this to what happened when Prafulla Kumar and Brigo Kumar Kukan were there when Zain Singh was the president. One. Second, this new media, please understand, one of our very close friends, print media stood up and fought. Professor of English, Devkant Base Baruba. Trace it and you will begin to see that as you try to understand modern phenomena, you will have to construct a history of the modern. And that, I would say, would really establish any kind of solidarity with the histories of your own particular experience. This is where we need to build alliances, forge alliances, to strengthen pro-democracy movements.
Yeah, that's not thanks Manu to that. Assam problem because they in 1985 it was a part of a coalition of a kind of a socialist, right? When Manu said left is all, nobody will question that.